Happy Devils Sunday. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, Sunday edition, 9 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, baby. And for Beer Baron, 9:05 p.m. Eastern as he walks into his primetime radio studios with the nice mountain view. And then Scotty of SiriusXM Liquid Metal in Beverly Hills giving us that rich talk before the podcast. Yeah. Notoriously late. And Shorts Guy at the highest point in New Jersey. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. Tonight's title is Grading the Devils at the All-Star Break. Yeah, we're going to grade them. We want to hear your comments. And lots to go over. So, how are you, Beer Baron?
Being a parent is not easy. It's not easy. Trying to put kids to bed, trying to do all that kind of stuff. It's, yeah. And then trying to run and do a podcast, and then your daughter's not fully asleep, and she's upset at you because you have to leave. Yeah, it's not fun. Not fun, Sam. You know what else is not fun? It's the way the Devils have been playing hockey. That's been terrible. So, I don't know, man. It's Nico Heischer says he's pissed off. The team should be pissed off. I think the fans have been pissed off for quite some time, and just last night was one of those games where it wasn't fun. Wasn't fun to watch. Probably wasn't fun to play in. I think Shorts Guy said it in the group chat. You know, finally VTech has a game where he's bailing out the team. You know, I think 42 shots on goal last night, something like that.
42 shots on goal, 2 were empty net. So you figure about 38 saves. 36 saves, and so game-saving saves. Goal-stopping saves.
But the team doesn't show up. The inconsistency is
better there.
Yeah, there you go. Not good enough. Not good enough is a good way to put it.
That's my grade.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. If I were the coach from Letterkenny, I'd be walking in a room, kicking a garbage can right across the room.
I've done that before.
It's embarrassing.
I've done that before as a coach. Believe it or not.
Somebody needs to throw jelly against the wall or something. But not good. What's up there, Scotty? The California vibes. Everybody watching the Niners come back and tie that game.
Ooh.
Did they tie it? I wasn't even.
Yeah, it's tied up.
Tied
up.
No?
Jamar Gibbs had a fumble and then boom.
Nice.
I don't know. What do you boys think? I mean, it sucked, but what are we gonna do? At least we're on break for a little while.
I mean, I think that's the biggest thing is this team needs a break. We talked about this on Devils After Dark as well. You know, I graded the team as a C-. They've had some good spots, but overall, where did we say the themes were? Rookie D, falling, not scoring the first goal, and injuries.
Oh.
So those were our, I feel like the main 3 things that we have talked about the majority of this season. Those are the 3 themes that have dominated this team so far. And, there's been some bright spots. There's been some bright spots here. Vitek Vanecek was definitely a bright spot last night. He kept the team in it. Alexander Holtz's play has been a bright spot. The power play at the beginning of the year,
all 8 minutes was
but the power play at the beginning of the year was a bright spot. But right now they just have way too much adversity to come over. We got some good news today with Hatakka and someone else and Dowling are going back down to the AHL. Hopefully that means that Jack will be back. Brendan Smith will be back, and we already know Nick DeSimone will be ready to go as well. So hopefully Smith and DeSimone could bring some veteran presence to this team on defense, which they are desperately missing. I mean, Nemitz, listen, I think he's going to be great, but it's obvious that he is not ready to be playing in the NHL just yet. Nor do I think he would be if Dougie Hamilton and Siegenthaler and Smith were all healthy. Putting him and Ball together has just been a nightmare of out of position. I get it. They're learning and they're going to get better at it, but right now it's not making things any easier for these goaltenders. And I know some people have been down on him, but I've liked what I've seen from Nico Dawes. I love the way he tracks the puck. He always seems to have his shoulders square to wherever the puck is on the ice. He's gotten hung out to dry, much like Vitek has with this defense. But overall, now I don't think the goaltending is the number one issue on this team. It's rookie defense, injuries, and not scoring the first goal. I mean, we can get into special teams as well because the power play well has dried up without Jack Hughes playing on this team. Bryce Salvador had a stat during the intermission. The zone entries are very similar to when Jack was there, but after you enter the zone, like leading to like a play that is an opportunity at net, your percentages have basically dropped a third on both sides. They get in, but then they cough the puck up really quick and it gets thrown right back out. And when they do get in, they don't get any really good opportunities because the other teams are afraid of Jack Hughes. We all know that. And him missing and not being on this team is a huge presence lost. And we've seen it when Nico goes out. We've seen it when Jack goes out. When either one of those two guys go out of the lineup, this team has an awfully hard time, winning games and playing that full 60 minutes. So I gave him a C minus, which I thought was fair because I think these injuries, I don't think anyone could have said this many people were going to get hurt. And, this amount of serious injuries, not just dinged up for a week. Siegenthaler gone, Dougie gone, Jack's been out a number of games. There's the list goes on there with the injuries. Palat, was injured. I mean, how many? Nico was out for a while, so there's just been Timo. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Noshik, who was supposed to be a someone to bring stability to that bottom six, he's been gone. So Brendan Smith, even we've all had our I know I've had my qualms with Brendan Smith, but I loved what he brought to the wing. But even when he started to play well, sprained knee, he's out. So I gave him a C minus, and I think that's a fair grade.
I'll give you a grade in a second, but I did want to point out something. You said all those guys going back down to the minors is a good thing, but even like our friend Dubs on the YouTube chat brought up a great point. The Utica has games this week, so they're probably just sent down for the fact that they can play in Utica and not so much for the fact that Jack Hughes is coming back. Because unfortunately, that week to week's turned month to month, buddy.
Well, I think they've always said that after the All-Star break. So I think, yes, go down and let them play. But I mean, Dowling is not, some rookie that they're trying to get reps for. He's got like 500 plus games at the AHL level. And, I think the last game was his 100th at the NHL level. So I don't really think there's a lot there about like, we need to get this kid reps. Maybe Hatka and the other, I think it's a Russian defenseman. I don't know how to say his last name.
Missile?
Missile? The missile? The Russian missile.
Belarus.
Or the Belarusian missile, or however you say that. Correct me, history guy.
Yep. He's Belarusian, I believe it is, but I could be wrong with that because those Eastern Bloc countries like to change things a lot.
They do. But yeah, I mean, I don't see them like. Do they really need to get reps for them? No, maybe they just need some people down there. But I don't know. I have a feeling that you're going to see Jack Hughes back in this lineup. When the teams reconvene on what is it, the 6th, February the 6th, Devils play again against Colorado.
Mm-hmm. Yep. If you're sending players down to Utica to get reps, send frickin' Nemec and Ball too, because they are just absolutely atrocious recently.
Yeah.
I was watching that game last night, And yeah, maybe it was a missed cut, designated cut play or whatever you want to call it, where I think that pass was supposed to go to Dowling, and it went right to the slot to a wide open. What was that point that scored? I think that just I snapped when I saw that. I just had enough. I'm tired of coddling these young defensemen because right now they just suck. Their decision making sucks. Their passing sucks. Their defensive coverage sucks. And I'm sorry to be so negative, but I'm just so tired of it. I was watching that game last night and I was getting the same type of annoyance and anger that I get when when my team has an off night and they leave a guy wide open in front and they just don't make that coverage right. And that point goal just it was the final straw. That was a wide open pass and Vanacek did all he could after stopping sure goals prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
And it scores. And Nemec has been consistently making bad decisions. He's supposed to be a highly touted defenseman, and he's still learning. I get it, but I'm tired of that excuse. That 2-on-1 that he completely blew against Montreal, where he just peeled away from the front of the net while there was a player coming down. That's not, oh, I made a bad choice tonight. That's just a bad defensive. That should be a basic defensive play that you should make. You should have the awareness to at least check over that shoulder, that other shoulder. There's another guy coming, or VTech is telling you, take the pass, I have the shot, and there's something going on. And I'm just so tired of coddling these young guys. They're learning. They're just making flat out dumb decisions, and they have to play to what they're capable of. Because if this is what they're capable of, I'm sorry, time to trade them. And I'm so frustrated seeing these goalies hung out to dry. I like Nico Dawes. I like Vitek Vanacek. I like Akira Schmid. I'm just so tired of it. Because even with everyone saying we need new goalies, no, we need defensemen that can do their damn job. And who I forget who it was against with the power play goal that was scored from the guy in the slot, wide open in the slot. It was bang, bang, bang pass to the slot in because there was no defensive coverage on the kill. And the guy was wide open in front of the net and just had a clear as day shot. And they scored a goal. I forget who that was against. It was recently, but there's so many poor defensive markings in the last month and a half that it's all blending together. It's just, I was so frustrated last night, and I could just feel the same anger that I feel when my defense, for example, a couple weeks ago, they left a guy wide open in the slot who had 3 chances on me. I stopped all 3, thank God. But he had 3 chances on me, and my team goes, oh, we trust you, like kind of joking. And I was like, I had enough at that point. I was like, no, you cannot just say, oh, no, you have to get on that guy. And if you don't get on the guy and you get there late, knock him on his ass. Sorry, I'm kind of Grant Marshalling the podcast, but I'm just tired of these lame excuses. Young defensemen. I said it all season. You can't hide developing defensemen, and we're seeing this. And they're not developing fast enough. You guys have your opportunity to play at the NHL. Develop faster, get better, because guess what? You're going to go back to Utica until you earn this. And Ball and Nemec should be in Utica getting reps. They shouldn't have a week off. They're making mistakes left, right, and center. They're doing nothing right. Go down to Utica and learn how to play your damn position because you're leaving the goalies out to dry, and we can't score as well, which is another problem. So they leave the goalies out to dry. There's poor defensive coverage. A goal goes in. Now we're behind the ball, and now we have to catch up. If you're not playing good, solid defensive hockey, and this offense, which can't score first, is now playing catch-up the entire game, we're seeing games like the last 2. That second goal against Carolina, they scored it with 1.4. It got changed to 2.5 seconds left. Whoa, whoopee. Yeah, great. You scored. That doesn't show me anything. That shows me that you're too late. It shows me you're too damn late in this game. That goal should have been scored at the beginning of the third, late second period. That's just a consolation. Yay, you scored. You want a medal too? I'm tired of it. I'm just so tired of these defensive lapses. As a defensive-minded person, as a damn goalie, it's just, I've had enough. I've had enough. This team is not good enough. It's right here. That's my damn grade. Not good enough. That's their grade. Not good enough. Not approaching whatever. It's just awful. I've had enough. I've had enough. I'm tired of making excuses for this shoddy D. I'm tired of it. You're not good enough.
Shorts guy's going all Woody Page from Pardon the Interruption over here.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
I mean,
he's
I mean,
right.
they're young.
He's dead on right.
They're young.
I'm tired of it. I am so damn tired of it. And I'm tired
I-
of they're young. They're young. Make better decisions. Like you're not like you're playing the highest level. You got drafted highly. You should not be making these mistakes. These are not young player mistakes. These are
They're not
bad,
ready yet.
poor
They're not ready
defensive mistakes, and we know that. We said that all season. But you know what? You have to get ready. If they're what they're showing by making these mistakes still at this point in the season with all these NHL reps, you're not good enough right now. Because
No, they're not.
the really great players would have found a way to at least lessen half of these mistakes. And,
it would have been nice.
And I
to
feel
be
like
able
I'm piling on Nemec, but he is one of the top mistake makers. He's becoming a human mistake machine out there. And maybe he's overwhelmed, maybe he's in over his head. Then that means that someone is not pulling him aside and be like, listen, chill out, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. So that also is going to lead to the coaching. Like where's the guidance on this? It just seems like the defense is a mess, and I've had enough.
You know what? You're 100% right. This team chases every single game, which is also going to put your defenseman in a bad position. Like everything that's going on right now puts everybody in a bad position. Then your offense is going to start pressing. Your defense is going to start to try to push or pinch in a little bit more, which they're not allowed to do because then they're going to just expose themselves and make even worse mistakes. Right now, what's going on with this team is, in my opinion, they don't have the veteran leadership on the defensive core. And whether or not Dougie Hamilton was playing good enough hockey in the beginning of the year, or good enough defense, or whether or not he's a good enough defenseman, at least he's a veteran presence on that blue line.
Mm-hmm.
At least you can put a guy with Nemec with him, and maybe it makes a little bit different of a difference. I think you're 100% accurate. I think this team is they're way too talented to be making the bonehead mistakes that they're making. Yeah, yes. The kid is 19 years old, and yes, he's highly touted. But listen, there's nothing wrong with him going back to the AHL and having a season. The only problem is they don't really. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. They don't really have anybody to replace him right now.
I know.
And I mean, they bring in these other guys, and guess what? These other guys aren't that much better. So the situation that the Devils find themselves in, getting closer to the trade deadline, is now you have to look at it. Is this a season that you're going to punt on? Or is this a season you still think you have hope for? Is this a season that you want to try to make into, push for the playoffs and get into maybe a second wild card because that's what you're staring right now down the barrel? Or do you say, all right, you know what? I think maybe we need to reset. I think we need to move a couple of pieces around. I think we need to put some guys on long-term shut down the season. I don't know what you should do. I mean, I don't want to see him punt on the season. Ooh, I came real close to. That was a real close Grant Marshall.
You're not punting. You're not like trading away like everybody barn burner sale.
No. That's not what I'm saying. Just like not making any moves
going out, and that's not punting though. You're gonna get back Jack Hughes, which is arguably he's a top 5 player in the league. He's gonna change this team around. You don't know. You're gonna get Siegenthaler back at some point. You're getting some veteran presence in there on the defense. Me personally, I think part of the problem is Lindy is playing these guys like Nemec and Luke over 20 minutes a night. That's too much for them, and they're screwing up left and right.
Yes, no choice.
I mean, you got some other guys that you could be playing a little bit more as well. With Smith coming back, with DeSimone coming back, I would not be surprised to see Nemec up there in the press box watching for a little bit. Maybe Kevin Ball too.
Should be. That's where Nemec should be. So should Ball.
You could hide one.
You could hide one for a little bit, but DeSimone is not the answer. That dude came off of waivers. It's not like he's been a 10-year veteran in the NHL. The dude's got a cup of coffee in the NHL. He's got more time in the AHL than he has in the NHL. He's not the answer either.
Do you think we're going to the Cup Finals this year?
No, dude, that's not my question is, are we even going to make the playoffs at this point? Not even. I think we're going to make the Cup?
4 points out. We're 4 points out.
Yeah, but Yeah, but we're blowing.
And guess what? Those 4 points. Those 4 points are going to start getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
We're 4 points out.
We are blowing so many opportunities right now with games at hand and games that we should win, or that we have a chance to win. We're going to rue these points we are not getting now in January. Yes, we're 4 points out, but before we know it, everyone's going to have an equal amount of games, and we're still going to be 4 points out if we are, and that's going to be a hell of a 4 points to catch up. We needed those 2 points against Carolina, being in the same damn division. We needed those 2 points last night, and we took the Tampa Bay Lightning to task to overtime the last time we played them, and last night, we were being outshot something like 15-3 at one point, something stupid like that.
Ridiculous.
It was just absurd. It was just absurd last night. Yeah, I get it. We're missing people. We have injuries. Every team's got injuries. We seem to have quite a bit. But along with that, with the Carolina game, we caught Carolina on the second half of a back-to-back, and they looked like they hadn't played in 3 days, and they were fresh as anything. We get on the second half of a back-to-back, and we're like, take the game away. Take these 2 points. Out. We get blown the hell out. It's so frustrating because they talked about it pregame. Oh, Carolina's second half of a back-to-back. This is where you take your chance. This is where you have a team that's got tired legs. They had a tough game against Boston, and they looked like they were fresher than us in that damn game. These are the things that are just I'm so ticked off and frustrated with right now because it's just so horrible. On top of that, still going back to the damn debacle on Sergei Brylin night. Holy hell! If you can't get up for that game, what the hell are you getting up for? It's just it's one under another. It's just so frustrating because it's not good enough. It's not good enough.
And you know what? And I like Lindy Ruff. I like the coaching staff. I really do. But I'll put it this way: maybe a change of coaching staff isn't the worst idea. Maybe it's time that we shake things up a little bit more than just pulling a goalie, and especially pulling a goalie when we're down a goal and there's 2.5 minutes left in the game and we're pulling a goalie right after Toffoli scores in this game yesterday. Like, what are we doing? Maybe it is time to make a change with the coaching staff, because you look at a team like Edmonton, who is notoriously underachieving forever and ever and ever. They change a goal. They change their coaching staff, and the next thing you know, they're on like a 17 game heater. So you can't tell me that changing a coach
with no injuries.
Well, yes, of course, yeah. Granted,
no injuries.
There are injuries to the team.
Getting a new coach is not going to change Kevin Ball making that stupid pass yesterday. A coaching change is not going to cause Kevin Ball to not make that decision yesterday. That's a Kevin Ball decision. The coaching staff can set this team up as best they can. Kevin Ball bumbles that play, passes it to the slot to a wide open Braden Point. Braden Point has all day to score a goal. That's not no coaching. It's a lack of coaching at practice. It's not setting up, because that's a poor defensive decision. And Kevin Ball should know that. Now, granted, like I said, it looked like what's his name, Dowling was cutting into the slot, was going to cut in, receive that pass, and try to skate out. But even still, that's a risky pass to be passing it towards the center of your ice. You'd never want to do that in defensive zone. That's a really risky pass. I hate those passes in front of me, and my defensemen do it all the time, and they know it bothers the hell out of me. But that's a risky pass to begin with, and in making a risky pass on someone. By someone who's not making great decisions right now, with a guy who's maybe practiced with you 3 times at the most, that's a poor play. That's a poor decision. That's not on the coaching staff. That's on the player. There are things that are just on the player. Like, and who would we bring in as a new coach? Who's available?
My point is,
I'm just fired up. I apologize.
I know. I know. No,
it's
fine. There's definitely like people out there that you could look at and say, like, well, this guy, and this guy. There's other guys that are on other staffs right now that might make a little bit more sense. My point is, like, and I apologize to whoever it was in the group chat, but they're like, if Tortorella is a coach, right? Do you think that he wouldn't be holding people accountable? That the thing is that this team, it feels like there's no. Sometimes, dude, they come out so goddamn flat, and you're like, how are you coming? The Breland game is a great example. How do you come out so flat for that? Yes, it's on the players too. Don't get me wrong. Like the accountability should be across the entire room. And Nico Hischier sounded like he was to the point where I think all of us are at.
Exasperated.
But at the same time, like exasperated, and it's also like I would love to be in that room to hear one of these guys stand up and talk and be like, "What are we doing? What are we doing?" Like jokingly saying, like somebody needs to throw jelly against the wall. Somebody needs to throw some damn jelly against the wall. Somebody needs to go in there, kick a garbage can, do something, stir the boys up, like do something, hold these dudes accountable instead of just one. Like we joke around about like what he does to Alexander Holtz. It feels like he holds like one dude accountable when some of these other guys are making bonehead mistakes night after night. That's what doesn't make sense.
Bench ball, throw ball, throw Nemec into the press box and call someone else up if you're going to make those stupid decisions. Someone else can make a pass and let someone else make a mistake. You watch their mistakes so you can see what you're doing on the ice.
Yeah,
Man.
I think that's what's going to happen once you get DeSimone and Smith back. You're going to see both of them go up into the press box, where they probably should be.
Who would have thought 2 months ago we'd be missing Brendan Smith on defense?
Well, once you got Stiegs and Dougie out of the equation, there's no veteran leadership there. It's hard. John, we've talked about it. John Marino is I think people assume John Marino is like 32, 33. He is 26. He just played his 300th game. He's a young guy. He's taking that all on. Oh yeah.
He looked so pissed last night when they called that call on him, which was questionable at best. He was just here he was trying to make a bit of a physical play, and they called, and the look on his face was like, "Are you kidding me?" It's just he's doing what he can, but you're right. He's young, like he's 26, he's being vaulted. He's been playing great, but he's being vaulted into a leadership role that he was not ready for, or expecting, I should say, is probably the better term. I don't think he was expecting to be the leader of this defensive core.
Or, you always imagine that it would just be Luke, and he'd probably be on that bottom pairing, and it's a little bit easier to hide someone that young who's going to make those inexperienced mistakes, down in that bottom pairing. But Luke is playing top-line minutes. Nemec is playing top-line minutes. You can't hide that. You can't hide that. There's nowhere on the ice for you to hide that. So it's just like I said, hopefully, DeSimone and Brendan Smith can bring a little bit of stability. And I think Ball and Nemec have to get up into that press box and look. I think they've been, of the three, I think they've been the two that need the most, maybe watch and see. I'm sure all of them can watch the tape afterwards and be like, oh yeah, I should not have passed that out of the corner so hard and have it go right through Dowling's legs. Nemec, I need to be more aggressive when I have someone like Steve, even though I'm on Kucherov. If Stamkos is skating right by me and is going to take a shot on goal, I need to get aggressive and go on to Stamkos instead of Kucherov. I need to drift towards the net, not away from the net. There's a lot of things that I'm sure, I'm sure that once they watch the tape, they're like, yeah, I see that. I realize. But, you have a fraction of a split second to make those decisions. And
they don't have enough experience. Though. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, they don't have enough experience, though, at this level, or probably at any sort of professional level, to be able to have that experience to draw from. Kevin Ball should never have tried that. You should have banked it up the boards and just got it out of the zone. Mm-hmm. Like you said, that's a dangerous pass right there. And you got Braden Point
for anyone
right behind him in the center slot. And if you're VTech, you're doing everything you possibly can. You're diving, you're doing everything, but it's got to be so deflating because he made so many saves on Stamkos and Kucherov in that game. That's like elite of the elite right there. And yet he got hung out to dry on, all those goals. I wouldn't put any of those goals on VTech.
Nope.
In yesterday's game.
And there were at least minimum three others that he saved that should have been goals. Easily. So he was doing his damn job, and then some of those defensive decisions were just so bad just so bad. It's like we've been wanting, and VTech still, like when you look at it, VTech's got a pretty solid record. And he does all he can in a game like yesterday, and it's just not good enough. Like that's the most, as a goalie, I will tell you this: to play a game like that and have the lack of support and the lack of goal scoring, it's frustrating as all hell. When you play like that, when you make those big saves, there was one save yesterday. I want to say it was Stamkos' goal. Vitek made a wild save, and Stamkos was in between two Devils defensive players. I forget who it was. The puck came right to him. No one touches him, and he was quick to the puck. I'll give him that. But that's the most frustrating thing. You make this massive save that you probably shouldn't have done, and you get scored on like that. You're almost like, "Wow, I wish the initial shot would have scored." Because what's the point of making that big save if that is going to be the result? There's two of my players standing next to this guy, and the puck goes to him, and he just slams it home. Like, why is no one tying him up? Someone should tie him up and be in between him and the net. It's just it's these poor defensive mistakes that are just so damn frustrating. And no goalie is gonna be able to recover from that and make that second save like that. That's a defenseman's job. That's a defenseman's job. Defensive player, the center playing low, whoever those two defensive players were, and I can't remember who they were. That's their job to make sure that Stammer doesn't score in that goal. Because VTech just saved your ass with a massive save. You need to prevent that rebound goal.
Yeah, I wonder how many times anybody's actually gone out and put money on the Devils giving up the first goal, because if you do that this year, you're probably you're going to be swimming in the money right now. You could just let that ride.
No, you're not.
Pretty much the entire
No,
year.
you're not, because the odds are it's probably minus 600, 700.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to drop
now it's
$1,000. Drop $1,000 to make 20.
Yeah,
to make $20. Yeah, dude,
you're better off putting $20 in a Devil scoring first every game, so when it does hit, you'll at least get that money back. Holy hell, they're not scoring. And then there was that stat last night. I got it right here about Holtz scoring a ton of the first goals for the game, and I thought I had it here. Here it is. 8 of the 12 goals have been Alexander Holtz. 8 of his 12 goals have been Devils first of the game. It's like 8 of his 12 goals have been the Devils first of the game. Well,
get him out there more often.
That's frustrating as hell too now, because originally it was like, all right, well, it's kids learning, but now it's like, all right, well, so when are you going to bench Kevin Ball? When are you going to bench Nemec? Like it's becoming absurd that all these other places, like you said, Scotty, other players are making mistakes. Or Spear Baron may have said, I forget who said it, but all these other players are making mistakes. But Holtz is the whipping boy.
Yeah,
like, I'm sorry, but it's like
it's crap.
Start benching these players. Have a bucket practice. I don't care. Do something to wake them up, because it's just not good enough.
No. And, going back to like one of the things that you were saying before, like just it's unacceptable how this team is playing. It's unacceptable, like everything that's going on. This season has just been like weird with other things that have been happening. It's frustrating, to say the very least, right? You watch all these things and it's absolutely frustrating. And then you get all these rumors like swirling around the team like the entire year, whether it's, trading for this or trading for that. But I have to ask you, if there was a possibility that you could get Noah Hannafin from Calgary, and by the way, this is all just like throwing speculation out into the air, but if you could get Noah Hannafin in this deal, but they want Kevin Ball in return as a part of a package deal, at this moment you would pull the trigger on it. Am I wrong?
They're not going to do that deal.
No.
I know what you're saying, but it's like, yes, I would right now. Yes, especially recency bias. I'm so annoyed with Kevin Ball. Yes, go for Hannafin. Go.
Yeah, I just they have to do. I don't know what they're going to do. He's got to do something, right? There's no way. There's no way this team stays looking the way it does. Whenever the deadline is, like, was the end of March. It just sucks.
I wouldn't make any crazy trades. I mean, it doesn't seem like the year for them. It's not the year to go out and make some trades like that. Noah Hannafin also you can sign in the offseason instead of having to trade any assets, And like I said, where they are right now, they definitely have places to improve, but you look at the goaltending being a lot better. You look at Jack Hughes coming back. You look at maybe hopefully Timo Meier kicking it into gear. And you could have a different, post All-Star break. They are only 4 points out of the wild card. They're only 5 points out of third place in the division. The Rangers are tanking. Shesterkin can't stop anything. The Flyers are tanking. The only team that's really on the rise right now is Carolina. So everything is still in play. Could they be better? Absolutely. But when you have three super inexperienced defensemen out there, and two of them are playing their first games and they're not ready for the NHL, and potentially that third one as well, it's just a recipe for no success right now. They need to get their power play has been abysmal. It bailed them out big time in the beginning of the year. But the power play without Jack is just terrible. So the penalty kill hasn't been that much better. It's improved slightly, but they're still, what are they, 22nd or 23rd in the league? That's up a little bit from 28th or 29th, wherever they were. But your special teams have been atrocious.
Outside of the first, by the way,
month of the season.
I like, by the way, Mark just said, on a good note, Palat came back. Well, yeah, you're not wrong, Mark. Palat did come back.
At least that's some veteran leadership.
And he scored.
And he scored. Speaking of which, Detroit scored, but it's probably going to be too late unless they get an onside kick. Yeah, dude, the lack of veteran leadership on the defense, I think, is killing them this year. Who knew Gravy was going to be so important to this team? I think Severson. But I'm saying, like, I feel like
talked about it over the summer. We did.
Yeah.
I know we did. I'm just saying, like, you look at the team and it's like Severson could have been gone and it still would have been okay, but they should have spent that extra $1 million to keep Gravy. Whatever the case may be, whoever they were trying to go after, or like whatever, one of these, the Tierney signings or one of the other signings that they did for these like bottom six guys, you could have gone out and you could have kept Ryan Graves in the lineup. Somebody that's been in the system for a while, somebody that was a shot blocker, somebody that was like, relatively defensive responsibilities were all checked off, right? But I don't know. You can't start blaming Fitzy because, like, who could have seen the amount of injuries that this team's withstood this year? It's insane. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons that, like, whatever, I don't know.
It was a calculated risk going into the season with the young defensive core we had, and it was a risk that failed. Because we were always an injury or two away from a disastrous defensive core, and the worst case scenario happened. We knew this defensive core was young going in, and it was a risk to be playing with them up in the NHL a little bit earlier than normal for what a defenseman should be. We gambled and we lost. It was a gamble, and we lost on it. So yeah, you can kind of throw this on Fitzy and say, yeah, guess what? This was a poor choice by you. Like you said, Beer Baron, you should have gone out and you should have done something to keep Gravy. Maybe you should have pushed to get a little bit more of an experienced defenseman, and maybe all of that fell through, and this is what we were left with. All right, well, let's just let's hope and pray this works this year, and no one gets hurt. And well, everyone got hurt.
Everybody got hurt. Even the coach gets hurt.
Everyone got hurt.
Even the coach gets hurt. And
even the coach
you're gonna look at it right now with the 2020 Captain Hindsight vision when you see how Ball has been playing, and then you look and you see the Ahoytuks and Mohamedoulin's coming in for San Jose, and you're always going to wonder, like, hey, what if we swapped one of those guys out in that deal?
The Niners win.
Ugh.
So it's
no one to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, he almost had the onside kick. Oh.
And of course,
sorry,
we did have one player who was playing the best hockey of his career, and he is, no longer on this team, and was a very, very big bright spot with his face-off wins and his sudden, goal scoring and being moved up into the lineup and filling in some of those holes. That's also a big blow to this team, but also, a big mental blow as well for the rest of the team having to deal with that. And also Cal Foote coming in and kind of taking on that role as a big stay-at-home defenseman, providing some muscle, providing some protection, for this team. And, now he's gone as well. So I also, I think that's something that people should also remember is there was definitely a huge mental blow on this team, in the past week and a half with everything that's going down.
Yeah, but Fitzy also signed Cal Foote knowing he was on that list, and it could have blown up, and it did. He was on that list of players, and Fitzy brought him in. So you knew that this was a possibility as well, another gamble that you lost.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a tough one to get into because I know Cal put out that statement, obviously, that may or may not have been true, claiming that he had nothing to do with the incident. So, obviously, there's something going on there. None of us know exactly. We'll find out on, what is it, the 5th or 6th that they're going to have the big press,
February
big press
5th.
Conference.
Coincidentally, the same day that you can buy a
jersey. Yeah.
Oh, but you're not going to be able to buy an authentic.
Timing.
But you won't be able to buy an authentic. You won't be able to buy an authentic because they're delayed until March, which is another dumb decision by the league.
I think the Cal thing had more to do with Nolan, being in the system as well.
I think that had more to do with it than anything, yeah. I think it was more Fitzy hoping that, listen, you gave McLeod that 1-year deal, and I bet you he was banking on, or not banking, but just hoping, like, maybe taking the kid at his word. Because you can't imagine that there wasn't, like, full-on conversations with management and McLeod and his agent and whomever could be involved in that room, and or Cal Foote, saying, like, listen, here's the deal. Like, if you're saying you're innocent, we're going to believe you and we'll support you. And what people have to remember too is you have the NHLPA. The Devils just couldn't be like, you know what, we don't want to deal with this. See you later. Even if they wanted to, because if they did, they could have their hands full with the NHLPA too. It's a horrible, horrible situation that none of us or anybody else out there could be in the room or have any knowledge of what actually happened, what was going on, what the legal process is doing. How they were even called in or any of that stuff. I'm not defending anybody or any of that stuff. What happened to that poor girl is one of the most horrifying things that could happen to anybody. And if McLeod was involved or Foote was involved, they should go to jail. And they should do whatever punishment is coming their way is just deserved, if not more. Yeah. But I'm just saying, you have to think. Listen, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying one way or the other.
Right.
But
we're not trying to discredit either side or play one side against the other.
We're not playing one side or the other at all. At all. And we have our own thoughts and our own opinions about this kind of stuff, and it's a very sticky situation. But listen, this team with that stuff going on, with the injuries going on, with the inconsistent goaltending going on, with the young defense going on, with bizarre coaching decisions going on. There's been a lot of things that have been happening this season. Scotty made a good point. We're only still 4 points out of a playoff spot. And I was heated in the moment before, and I'm saying, yeah, but that 4 points is going to start growing.
We also have games in hand as well.
Yeah, we have games in hand. But the
we
problem
keep losing.
Yeah, we do. But
that's why I think this break was at a really good time here. They need a mental reset, I think, as well, after everything that's gone down.
Bag skate.
They need
Bag
They
skate,
need
bag skate.
they need a mental reset, but they also need Nico Heischer to come in and kick the goddamn door down and call everybody out into the floor.
That's not.
You know, which
I don't think.
he
See, that's not Nico's leadership style. That's Jack's leadership style.
Oh, we do need Jack back. That is for sure.
I feel like I feel like between those two, Nico's the good cop, Jack's the bad cop. Jack is the guy that'll go in and lose his mind on the team, and then Nico will pick up the pieces and put it all together and say, "This is where he's right. We got to do this," because they're missing that heart. They're missing that fire. That's Jack. That's not that's not a knock against Nico. Not everyone has that fiery style. Like, look at this is a bad example, but I'm going to go with it anyway. The failed attempt at Patrick Eliash being captain. His leadership wasn't. He was better as a player scoring without that full leadership role. And I feel like Jack is the guy that goes in. He's the hatchet man. He's the one who loses his mind, breaks his stick behind closed doors. But actually, no, his passion is pretty evident when he's on the ice and nothing's going right. You see it, which is potentially what led to his injury because he was being so frustrated to make a dumb decision. But I feel like he's the guy in the locker room that'll kick the garbage can over. And that's just not Nico's style. And some people just can't do that out of nothing because it looks so out of character. And you're just going to be like, what the hell's wrong with him? But like Jack will do it and they'll be like, oh, crap. Jack's right. So it's just
but
one
also,
of those things where I don't think that's Nico's style. That's Jack's style. That's Jack's
I think
job.
that Nico needs Jack as much as Jack needs Nico.
Needs Nico.
Oh, absolutely.
Look at the Devils' records with
absolutely.
one of them missing in the lineup. It's pathetic.
Because on the ice and off the ice, because you bring up a great point. Jack is probably the voice that Nico doesn't want to have, whereas Nico is like the more quiet, like we're going to get stuff done. We're going to have to go ABC. Like he has like more of a solid approach as where Jack is going to be the fiery one. So like they're like the odd couple where they kind of work off of each other. And I mean,
Absolutely.
like it's really apparent because on the ice, like Scotty was saying, their record is completely different when both of those guys are on a team, and it also makes other teams way more accountable, especially for our power play, even zone entries. When Jack is on the ice, this team is way different, and I feel like that's the other thing too is we never adjusted to post Jack. What?
I don't know if I'd go John and Yoko there because didn't Yoko break up the Beatles? So I don't know. If I go John and Yoko.
Yeah, let's not go John and Yoko. Mario and Luigi.
Or Ike and Tito.
Mario and Luigi's better.
Mario and Luigi sounds a little bit better there. Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
go Mario and Luigi. Whoa. Sonny and Cher. Who's Cher? That's got to be Jack. Jack must be Cher.
Just don't
He's the big superstar. Lamb and tuna fish? What the
They
hell?
go together like lamb and tuna fish.
Sid and Nancy. Okay. Fred and Ginger. All right, let's keep it going. Here we go. Fred and Barney. How about that?
I'd go Sid and Nancy, except I don't want to see one of them OD.
Yeah,
Stan and
settle
Kyle.
down.
Whoa! Woo! Super chat. Woo!
Very nice.
Let's see. There we go.
Oh, I see. After the Mario and Luigi, Nate Tendo Wee, hits us with the super chat over there. See how that works?
Love it.
All right,
Max,
so
I feel like it's Stan and Kyle and then Cartman and Kenny. I feel like that's how it goes.
Wait, let's get back to the realness right now. Nate has a great point. Utica's been lighting it up and putting out a better effort than the Devils have. Nate, thank you for the super chat, and that's a hell of a point. And not just Utica, but the ECLH or the Adirondack ECHL. I knew I was going to screw that up. ECHL, the Thunder have been. Are they still on a winning streak? They're on a 13-game heater. The last time I saw.
Bring them up.
Why is their
Bring 'em all
mascot a
up.
Viking?
It's the Thunder, dude.
Thunder, God of Thunder, Thor.
God of Thunder, Thor.
Yeah. Oh, okay, Thor. All right.
You see that jersey? Yeah. And by the way, the jerseys. We're going to get into the jerseys real soon because the jerseys have been.
Do they come out? Do they come out to kiss every night? God of thunder.
That'd be a good, probably. I don't know. If not, you should put a phone call into that.
Hey, Adirondack, why don't you
They have-
put some bits on the...
Hey, you got the rights for that? With all $15 in your budget that's left over? Sound like that guy. But they just put up a new jersey where the Viking has like his beard goes into like the devil's tail. He's got like the horns on his helmet. It's pretty badass. Utica's always putting out just amazing jerseys every year. They're black. Their black uniforms are absolutely sick.
Yeah. Just
And I know
good.
we're getting towards the end, but I know we need to touch on it. The outdoor game.
Oh, Ted
jerseys
super
for the
chatted
Devils.
as well, apparently. Thank you, Ted.
Woo! Ted.
Sorry, I didn't see that.
Ed, where was that?
My bad.
I
Ted.
see a Max. I don't see a Ted. I might see the super chat. I mean, the YouTube only goes back so far. So sorry if we missed that.
Yeah.
Wait.
Sorry, Ted.
Apologize about that,
Ted. There's your late woo.
Jim and Dwight. Which one's Jim and which one's Dwight? Between
Jim
Jack
would be
and Nico.
Nico, and Jack would be
Nico would
Dwight.
be okay.
Yeah, Dwight's way more off the handle, and that's definitely Jack.
That means Lindy's Michael Scott. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, that's appropriate too.
Yeah,
VTech could be
really is.
VTech could be Kevin. I can picture VTech with a big bowl of chili walking into the locker room.
Just for
Oh,
Brad's
man.
Ryan. He's kind of quiet in the corner, you know?
Oh, he meant Max.
Uh,
He meant Max. So Mark was wrong. He meant Max, not Ted. We
Oh,
gave
Max,
props
okay.
yeah, Max. Thank you for the super chat, Max. Max is our boy. We know that. He knows that. You are all our friends. You are like our family now. Yes, we come in with a big group hug. But yo, that Stadium Series jersey,
Yes.
they dropped
Yes,
it. They dropped
something
it.
positive.
Whatever.
Holy
It
crap!
looks
Something positive.
Sick. It looks sick.
Ugh.
It is sweet. I love the look. Like I know people are complaining the size of the numbers and blah blah blah. They do that because you're in the Stadium Series. You're going to be sitting in the upper deck. You need to see, is that a 56 or an 86? What is going on? So that's why they do that. That's why all the things, the logos are a lot bigger, is because of the setting.
I love it. I love it.
They look sick. I saw something, though, that I have to bring up, and I don't know who put it out there, and I apologize. I'm not trying to steal your stuff. I'm just going to say this right now. I think it was Backhanded Devil on Twitter. It might have been him. If the Devils don't come out wearing tracksuits off of the bus, like the teams come off the bus and they're like always wearing something. If they don't come out in like tracksuits with the gold chains, looking like they're straight from The Sopranos or something like that, then somebody needs to rethink their
velour
marketing scheme.
tracksuits. They have to be
The
velour
velour-
tracksuits.
Yes,
Poly
the velour
walnuts look.
tracksuit.
You want them all in the
Yes.
poly walnuts look. Okay.
And somebody's got to come off the bus like combing their hair, like chewing on a toothpick. I mean, really go. If
Are they
you're gonna do
poly
it, go
walnuts
all
or they're
in.
Razor Ramon? Which one?
Both.
Both.
Oh
But
man,
yeah, dude.
maybe we can.
I'm
Maybe
curious
for
if they're
that
gonna do
game,
that.
if they do that, maybe for that game, if we do that, we can find a win that our cousin got off the back of a truck.
There
That
you
would
go.
be nice.
Yeah. And the Flyers are just going to come out looking like a bunch of scumbags. So
Because that's
that's
Philadelphia.
going to be their. That's what their looks going to be like. What they look like? Yeah, anyways.
Why do they all look like Mac?
Yeah, that's what exactly what I have in my head. That's 100% with the.
They'll have to come out like Mac and do the.
Or they wear those like weird the eagle costumes.
Oh,
Oh my god, that's one of the best shows ever.
Oh, I love It's Always Sunny. Oh man. All right. Well, I think we're getting close to our end of the game over here. Time to pull the goalie, Lindy Ruff style. About 2 minutes left.
Why, we 5 minutes left? No.
yeah. I'll step away from the screen then.
You'll
I'll
step
step away
away,
from the
yeah. No, but I'll just say my closing thought is, thank you for at least getting these jerseys. I'm sure you can maybe tweak something a little bit here or there on it, but man, these look nice. And I am so glad we didn't get stuck. I said this on Devils After Dark yesterday. I am so glad we didn't get stuck with those Islanders jerseys because those are just absolutely atrocious.
You mean the Oilers? The Oilers giveaways?
Garbage.
Oh, but man, I think these Devils jerseys look hot, and yeah, I would much prefer these over the jersey. And who knows, maybe they'll wise up and see if we get some good sales here. Maybe they'll wise up and just reverse the colors and make that, the new black jersey going forward. Wouldn't mind to see a little more stripage on the bottom. You know me, I love that bottom stripe. But overall, I think these jerseys are awesome, and I think they're going to look amazing out there on the ice, outdoors, with those big giant stadium lights glaring down on them. They are going to pop, and it's going to look really, really good, whether you're there or whether you're watching on TV. I think they did a really good job. You know me, I hate those jerseys, but these, I'm ready to order me one. We were going over who. All right, so I think Sam hit me good with one. I think if I'm going to get a Luke Hughes jersey, if we get one. So, which I'm going to. So, who would you guys get?
I think I might get the Nico. I have a couple Jacks. I have the Jack. The year he got drafted, I got a Jack. The year Nico got drafted, I have a Nico. But then I also got that Heritage jersey. I got a Jack Hughes Heritage jersey.
See, I have the Nico Scouts jersey. Yeah.
So
I think I'm going to go Luke.
Nico. I think I'll go Nico,
okay.
Or I'm going to get a personalized and just do my own name. Because I was saying, you get a player who knows these days. They could get traded. But if you get your own name, you're not going anywhere. So I don't know.
Short Scott, who would you get?
But Luke is a good one.
This guy right here. There's no one else getting on the back of that jersey. This guy right here.
Okay.
With the A on the front and the shorts guy on the back. That's what I'm getting.
Okay. We were pondering. Would you get? I said it would be okay because he's the assistant GM. You could get a Brodeur jersey, or you can get a Chico jersey because he's calling the radio game. So he's actually there. They're actually there doing something. Sergey Brylin as well.
They are.
Is he coach?
But I'm 100% with Pierre Barron. I'm not being traded from this team, nor am I leaving this team. So I'm the one player that I would. I've already reached out to a company to personalize it. I'm not going to go through the NHL because the last time I ordered a personalized jersey or got a name on a jersey through the NHL website, the numbers were atrocious. I'm not even going to bother. I'm buying two. I'm going to buy a blank jersey, send it away to get it numbered and stitched properly instead of the crap that the NHL likes to send.
Yeah.
Sam Wu. Sam Wu was told yesterday to get. Too bad that what was it? Too bad Miles Wood isn't still on the team. You could get a Miles Wood and then just cover up the D for Sam Wu. Whose idea was that? Steven or Ted? One of you guys yesterday said that.
That's funny.
I'll get an oddball. I'll get a Vanacek.
Get a Brendan Smith.
Brendan Smith.
I hope you get somebody like way more obscure. I'm trying to think of maybe get a Dowling. At this rate, you could pick any of the guys from the AHL team that are probably going to still be on the roster for this.
Max,
there he is, Max.
Max Willman.
Short guy. You should get 0-0. Not good enough.
Not good enough. You know what, Max? As great of an idea as that is, this team will eventually be good enough. But right now, they're not good enough, and I'm not going to get a personalized jersey that says not good enough because when we are good, people are going to think that I'm not good enough, which is really, not really a far stretch from truth. But I don't need people knowing that.
Listen, Mark, the football thing's dead now. Football's dead because one of them is gone.
Yeah.
Well, you can just get football call on the back. Football call Woo.
Well, if the other foot comes up, not the bad foot, but the good foot.
The good foot. The right foot.
Yeah,
the right foot.
Yeah. But we'll have to move him on defense, though. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, don't forget to scan the QR code, everybody. You can see it on there in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Join our crew. Sam Wu was out on a scooter earlier today, riding down the New Jersey Turnpike. His battery ran out, and then Short Sky luckily was on rollerblade going over there, and they got a shopping cart, and Sam Wu jumped in the shopping cart, and Short Sky skated him into the parking lot, and then flipped him over the curb like jackass. Yeah. Scouting locations for the tailgate. So we got a lot of information that's going to be coming your way. Make sure you sign up with the joinourcrew.com if you haven't already. Just scan that QR code, and you'll get all the information about the tailgate that's going to be happening on the 17th, right there in the parking lot of good old, MetLife Stadium. It's always Giant Stadium to me.
Giant Stadium.
Yes. So make sure you scan that QR code. Sam Wu put a lot of work into that. 5 minutes, 5 hours, whatever.
It was work.
It's work. Yeah, it's work. And it's hard to get that thing up in the bottom of the screen there. Sam Wu is also our graphics guy as well. So, give him some love. Appreciate his work. And go ahead and scan that and sign up for Join Our Crew so you can get all the latest updates about the tailgate. And I'm super psyched to get there so I can drink one of those fancy new brews that are also on your screen to the right-hand side or left-hand side, depending on how you're looking at it. Yeah, I still have not got a chance to try one yet. I'm really excited for it, so I am just waiting. A couple weeks.
You're going to have plenty in a couple weeks.
I will be having plenty. And I hope to be toasting it with some of you out there in the parking lot as we tailgate away prior to the Flyers and the Devils Stadium Series. Cannot wait.
JoinOurCrew.com. And I'll just say this. Short Sky and I at least I marked the territory.
Sam peed there.
Yeah.
He peed.
He peed. Yeah.
I just let it go, man. Just let it go on the scooter. Like in
Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
Just let it go. Just let it go.
Oh, it's warm.
It's definitely cold out there.
Oh, yeah. That's the one thing. Sammy and I were in that parking lot, and I looked at Sam and said, wow, I forgot how cold this parking lot is.
Yeah.
It's going to suck.
Yeah, I think we found a good spot. Hopefully we can get on the day of the game. We'll let you know once we do our email blast on joinourcrew.com. Sign up if you haven't already. All right. Well, getting out of here. Thank you, guys. And dropping the podcast at midnight. That's right. For your morning commute, afternoon commute. I'm sure there's going to be a Woo report somewhere. Or will there be? Find out.
Yes, Max, if you stand in the puddle 2 weeks from now, you get a free and crew brew. If you can find where the puddle is, Sam Wu's puddle, you get a free and crew brew.
I'll give you a clue. Truckers.
I could be paid off, and for the right amount, I could be paid off to tell you exactly where it was.
Yeah. Anyway. Till next time, let's go Devils.